What is going on, all of you indie game lovers out there in the world? I am Mega Am, so thank you for watching this top 10 list. Whether you are a new or returning viewer, I appreciate you stopping by. And today, I wanted to talk about my top 10 favorite indie games. Now, there's a lot of discourse online about what an actual indie game is. Like, is it an aesthetic? Is it the size of the studio? Personally, I think it's based on the size of the studio, but also the way I'm going to define it is as like a game that's not published by one of the big publishing corporations that we come to expect from a lot of like more AAA-ish games. You know what I mean? Which we'll get to here with some of the honorable mentions. But I wanted to kind of clarify that up since I'm sure there's going to be some discourse. But let me know what you think about what indie games are in the comments below if you'd like to participate in that. Just a couple of disqualifications and honorable mentions before we jump in here. Like I said, these are my top 10 favorite. They're not an objective list at all. This is just my personal opinion. I do want to mention some honorable mentions, some runner-ups that almost made the cut. Of course, being Bastion, as you're seeing here, one of Supergiant's earlier games. I haven't played a lot of. There's a lot of indie games I haven't played, like Hades. I haven't played their Transistor game. There's so many other games just out there. Indie games. There's so many, right? These are just my personal favorites. Bastion almost made the cut, did not quite do it. Shout out to Blueprints, which is very recent as of this upload. Didn't personally love it myself, so didn't make the top 10. Penny's Big Breakaway was up there. Star Overdrive was up there. Plucky Squire was up there, and Nobody Saves the World. We're all very close to making it into the top 10. Some disqualifications I want to mention. Like I said before, I'm not considering games that are published or even funded a lot by a big publisher to be considered indie. So like Cuphead and the Ori games, I'm not including on this list because they are either published or funded by Microsoft. So that's that. I also didn't include Jackbox games. I know those might be technically indie, but there's so many of them and they're like a collection of games. I didn't include those here. Also, I disqualified both Guacamelee and Shantae Advanced Risky Revolution because I haven't finished those games. I'm currently playing them, almost done with Guacamelee, and just recently started Shantae Advance. Really loving both of those games, but did not want to include them here because I haven't finished them yet. But with all that out of the way, let's get into the actual top 10 here for my top 10 favorite indie games. Number 10 is one that I played pretty recently as of this upload. This is very much, like a few of these are, very much inspired by a previous game series that kind of has been dormant for some time, and so leave it to indie developers to kind of revive them and kind of put their own spin on it, but still make it as fun as the original inspiration, if not even more fun. And that, for me, at number 10 here is Pizza Tower. Now, this game is very frenetic, very fun. I played this, like I said, very recently as of this recording. Just like at the end of 2024, I went through it all. And I didn't do a lot of the optional challenges because in terms of those game mechanics, I don't love them that much. But for those of you who aren't aware, it's very much inspired by the Wario Land series that Nintendo used to produce. I loved Wario Land 4 personally, and this game in particular seems to take inspiration from that game with like the whole timer at the end of the levels. And in terms of the absolute wackiness, but this game brings it to a whole other level. The art style looks great in motion. It's a very colorful, almost grotesque looking game, but that's the whole point of the appeal, right? To like that rough, cartoonish look. And it really succeeds in terms of the gameplay it does. It's just in terms of the gameplay specifically, it's not my favorite. There are moments where I get a little frustrated, like running into a wall, like trying to keep a combo going, but it is really fun. There's a lot of puzzle-based platforming in this game. That is very much enjoyable. So would definitely recommend this game if you haven't checked it out yet, and especially if you love Wario Land. Definitely a fun, frenetic time that I had, and lots of fun to be had with this one. So Pizza Tower is number 10 on this list. Now, number 9 is a game. This is one that I played. I haven't played in a few years, but this is one that I actually really liked. I discovered it on the Switch, and as I did a lot of these, to be honest. But this one in particular, just the style really caught my attention. I don't even remember how I came across this one, but it's usually not my normal genre because this is technically a fighting game, but a very unique twist on that. And that at number 9 is the game Lethal League Blaze. This game from Team Reptile really just has a style of its own. I'm not a huge fighting game fan, mainly in terms of the fact that I find them really complicated to get a hold of. This one, though, is honestly not too bad, and it's different from typical like fighting games because it's almost more like it's almost like a baseball game combined with a fighting game because you're constantly knocking a ball back and forth. You can do things like hit the ball, of course, with like a charged up attack that it'll get faster the more you charge it up and the more you hit it. You can also bunt and then be able to kind of stop in midair and get more control over the ball. And you can also grab it and throw it back at your opponent. you try to knock them out and hit them with the ball so they get knocked out. But as you can see in this trailer, it's like super colorful, super flashy. I love this cel-shaded art style look. And it looks really, really good in motion. The characters are really fun to play as. The soundtrack's fantastic, especially when you have Hideki Naganuma composing Ain't Nothing Like a Funky Beat as one of the tracks in this game, and just like the sense of style is off the charts. It runs great on Switch. It's a really fun game to play. I played it mostly solo, but it's a great multiplayer game. There's a fun arcade mode too. But I think it's technically a fighting game. It's really, really fun. Definitely would give it a chance, especially if you're a fighting game fan, or even if you're not. I think this is a more approachable one for sure in terms of the pretty basic moveset, but just the really high frenetic gameplay once you really get into it. But Lethal League Blaze is my number 9 favorite indie game on this list. Now, number 8 is one that I also played last year. A lot of these were more recent for me because I've played a lot of indie games in the last couple years alone. This one, it was a short one, but I really liked just the solid fundamentals of the core gameplay from one of my favorite indie publishers, now being Devolver Digital. I really enjoyed my time with this one. That at number 8 is Pepper Grinder. This one was really fun. I played this on Switch. The core gameplay of drilling into the ground and digging up, and the creative puzzles they have around that drill. Like, it's not like there is just your basic drill gameplay, but they expand it more and more. There's not a lot of story to it, of course, but it's not really something you would expect. But just the core solid gameplay is really fun. This is one of the few games I've 100% completed because it was such a short game, but I really wanted to replay the challenges and collect all the stickers that you can in the game, and literally 100% the game. It was a really, really enjoyable experience to do that, and it just ended up being a really fun time. I really, really liked it a lot. I mean, Devolver knows when to pick a good game to publish, and the core gameplay with the drill, the boss fights were very frenetic and fun for the most part. And just overall enjoyed my time with it. It was a little short, and there could be more to the gameplay. It's not the most involved, but it's still like a really fun time. And so I did enjoy my time with it, and would definitely recommend it, especially if you're looking for a quick indie game with like a solid core frenetic gameplay. Definitely check it out. But that is number 8 on my top 10 favorite indie games list. Now, number 7, we're moving along. This one, not published by Devolver Digital, also played last year for the first time in 2024. This game released in 2024, and this was like a smash indie hit out of the gate. It was one of the most revered indie games that came out last year from Donkey, of all publishers. Well, his company, I should say, Big Mode. That, you can already tell I'm going at this. At number 7 is Animal Well. This game, such a good Metroidvania, because it has so many secrets. The best Metroidvanias have like the best hidden secrets. Now, the reason why it's not higher is because some of those secrets are a pain in the ass. And some of those secrets are genuinely like really annoying to discover. But the sense of immersion, the art style is so fun. The items, some of my favorite Metroidvania items in terms of just how like they're not almost none of them are situational at all. Most of them have multiple uses as you're exploring the overworld, which is great, and solving puzzles in the world. The map system I also don't love. I know they're going for that minimalistic style there, but the amount of secrets in this game are absurd. It's just a game that keeps on giving. But yeah, like some of those, especially ones that have revolved around like joining certain Discord communities, were just kind of a pain. You had to use a guide for that, so I didn't love that part by the end. But like the sense of exploration, the sense of discovery in this game, and just all sorts of like crazy stuff that happens, it's so much fun. Definitely would recommend this. This is almost a must-play Metroidvania if you are a fan of that genre. Definitely would recommend it. It's just, especially if you like that sense of immersion and items that are really fun to use and have multiple uses. It's really, really great with a simple aesthetic and a really immersive soundtrack. Definitely would recommend it. Just some of the puzzles later on can be really, really frustrating. Optional ones, to be fair, but I still love to solve optional ones. So even when those are tricky, don't love that. But that's number 7 here on the list. Now, number 6, another indie game came out in 2024, also revered as one of the most favorite indie games among a bunch of people at this point. Do I even need to mention what it is at this point? I feel like you probably already know this one. Number 6 is Balatro. There it is. Shout out. Balatro, on the surface, it's wild because I don't like adore card games necessarily. But the way they present this game, right? I honestly, this game taught me how to play poker. I know it's not poker, but it taught me the basics of just regular poker and then made it way more fun. Because a game like this, especially what makes a game addicting, is the satisfaction of a roguelike game like this, getting the right upgrades, building it up, and just seeing yourself like completely demolish the competition. That's what happens here when that score catches on fire and it keeps multiplying. When you know you've got the right Joker combinations in the right hand, it's so satisfying. Getting that can be tricky, and I still don't love card-based games, which is why it's not in the top 5. But for what it is, it's still really fun. I didn't end up unlocking a lot of the stuff. I didn't really play as much as most people, but the amount that I did play was really fun. And this is a game I could see myself, because runs are usually pretty quick, or you can even like save in between runs. Like this is a game I would revisit and play more of, and just like, unlock more of the Jokers, experiment more than just flushes and straights, because those are usually my go-tos, and just have a fun with this game. There's so many options in this game. Like there's a reason why it was nominated for Game of the Year last year. Like it totally deserved it. And it's a really fun, simple game made by one person. That's pretty impressive. So number 6 on the list goes to Balatro. Definitely my favorite card-based indie game. Now, number 5, absolutely classic. When you think of indie games, this is like probably one of, if not the poster child for indie games. Back when Nintendo was really starting to support indies on the Wii U and the 3DS, and homage to Mega Man, you love to see it. Number 5 on this list is the original classic Shovel Knight. I love this game still. I played this on Wii U of all things. It's such a love letter to Mega Man. I think it honestly surpasses classic Mega Man, if I had to say. Soundtrack by Jake Kaufman. Perfect soundtrack. Love the 8-bit aesthetic, and just like the idea of literally adding the shovel adds so much variety to gameplay. It's not just a typical platformer. You add the shovel to dig stuff. You can bounce on enemies, which is super satisfying. And there's a lot of cool special abilities you can use as well. And you have like your classic, like in Mega Man, you have the different like themed bosses. You have the different themed knights in this one, and just the aesthetic of the different levels is great. There's a reason why they're re-releasing a deluxe version. I don't think it's come out yet. I could be wrong about that. Correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong. Because people love this game, and Yacht Club knows that. And to come out and make this game and have it be such a big success that we already have 2 spin-off games, and we have the DX version, and we have a 3D game in development, like this, and Shovel Knight's crossed over in so many games, including Ukulele. I think Brawlhalla, was it Brawlhalla? I think so. And Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as an assist trophy? Like, yeah, of course this game's going to be fantastic. Absolutely quintessential 2D platformer. Love this game. It can be tricky. It definitely gets tricky. And, I mean, the story is honestly kind of interesting, not super interesting. And I feel like just because it is like that, I feel like there's not a ton to make it unique as a 2D platformer, which is why it's not higher. But it's still, I mean, the shovel alone does add a little bit of variety to the gameplay. And it's just, I don't know, it doesn't do anything super groundbreaking, but it's just a really, really great 2D platformer. Definitely, I mean, if you're a 2D platformer fan and you haven't played Shovel Knight somehow, like, you got to check this one out. This is absolutely fantastic. Once that DX version comes out, you'll have a new way to play it too. So Shovel Knight, the original classic, is number 5 on my top 10 favorite indie games list. Now, number 4 is one that I also played a while ago. It's also a slightly older game. It's almost 10 years old. At least I think it was... No, maybe it is 10. No, I think it is over 10 years old. Long-running series, actually. Now, we'll get into it about if this is considered indie or not. I personally say it is, and this is my favorite personal game in the series. And I love that, you know, speaking of the game earlier, we got a new physical release of a Lost game in this series this year on the Game Boy Advance, but that's not this one because I haven't fully finished that game. This at number 4 for me is Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. It's funny because this is the only Shantae game. I guess besides Half Genie Hero has it, right? This is the only Shantae game that doesn't have the animal transformations. Not to say the animal transformation gameplay isn't fun, but out of all the Shantae games, I feel like this is the most consistently good because Risky's Revenge was just too short. Half Genie Hero was completely different gameplay, not dungeon crawling Metroidvania like the core games are. This game takes that, adds some really cool pirate abilities like the sword, like the cannonball, like the hat to glide, and it just makes overworld exploration really fun. Talking about Jake Kaufman again, absolutely peak soundtrack with this game. Love the soundtrack of this game. The sprite work is beautiful. The voice acting is honestly pretty solid. If you're into fan service, sure, there you go. That part's a little weird. But such a great time. The dungeons are fun to explore. It can be a little tricky. And it does have a little bit of a long runtime, so not quite in the top 3. But I do genuinely love Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. I've played it a couple times. I actually have a playthrough of it up on the channel from years ago. Do not go watch that, please don't. It's very cringe. But really love this game. This is for me the quintessential Shantae game. Really enjoy just the collectibles, the exploration. Like I said, the sprite work, the characters are really fun in this game. I think they're the best they've ever been. Unless Shantae Advance tops it, we'll see. But really, really adore this game. I would highly recommend Shantae and the Pirate's Curse to anybody who is into that sort of like, if you're into Zelda games or Metroid games, I would check out Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. Like, that is my recommendation for you here. But that is number 4 on the list. We are into the top 3 favorite indie games. These are the cream of the crop for me. Number 3, I played for the first time at the end of 2023. This game, what I love about this game, not only did it consume my life when I played it, but it is so simple on the surface. But when you combine everything, it makes for an absolutely crazy experience, including the amount of absurd crossovers that it's had. That at number 3 for me is Vampire Survivors. This game, I feel like, should not be as good as it is. Not only is the base game like $5 regular price, the expansions are like $2 each. Or 2 to 3, I think it depends. The Castlevania one, I think, was more like 4. This game has so much content. And yeah, on the surface, sure, it's very basic, like pixel art. It seems super simple. You don't actually attack. All you do is move. But that's the ingenious part. The fact that the developer of this game like worked on slot machines, like, and it makes sense why this game is so addicting, because the more you play, the more combinations of weapons you unlock and the more abilities you unlock, and it gets absolutely absurd when you unlock. And like, it has like so many fourth wall breaking moments that are just like mind bending. It's so over the top and I love it. Not to mention the crossovers, like I said, mainly the Castlevania one to me. Genuinely probably the greatest crossover of all time, and I'm counting Smash Brothers in that discussion. The Castlevania crossover alone for Vampire Survivors, they went all out with that. It's amazing. But the game itself, just because it's so simple and then it builds up into something more complex, it's amazing how they accomplish that in this game. It's so addicting. I would definitely recommend Vampire Survivors. Just be prepared to get addicted, because it is so simple, but it just gets so complicated. You're gonna want to keep playing. Every run is max half an hour. Perfect length for runs. Absolutely love that. And it's a load of fun. It's a load of fun when you see things popping off on screen everywhere. It's great, and it can run on the Switch. So because of the simple graphics, it helps a lot, and it works really well. This is such a fun game. Absolutely love Vampire Survivors, but I can't get back into it. I don't want to get addicted a third time, man. Hey, if they do another crazy collaboration, I'll consider it. But that is number 3 on my favorite indie games list. Number 2, I don't think I was as addicted to number 2 as I was the last one, but this game holds such a special place in my heart. I played this in 2024 for the first time, and the sense of discovery in this one, just with like the ingenious puzzle design, like this game blew my damn mind, and I still think about it to this day. And this at number 2 is Tunic. Love Tunic. Honestly, I think I like Tunic more than any top-down Zelda game. And the thing for that is that the reason for that, let me clarify, is that the surface, it is very much inspired by the combat of a typical like top-down isometric 2D Zelda game, for sure. But it's much more than that. I don't want to say too much, because this is really a game you want to explore on your own first. But the whole idea of like the more you play, the more you figure out. Like, to me, this is a much better version of Zelda 1 in terms of the fact that they don't tell you anything about the game at the very beginning, and you literally have to figure it out as you explore the world and you collect pages. The puzzles, the fourth wall breaking puzzles, were absolutely crazy in this game. I have so many notes I wrote down for this game that I look back fondly on, just my types of puzzles that you wouldn't expect from a game like this. But underneath that surface level Zelda combat is a really creative puzzle adventure game. And I absolutely adore it. The visual style is amazing. The music's very immersive. I played this game with the TV lights on. It was fantastic. Look at Tuna. I mean, look at the little guy. Look at how cute he is. So good. How can you pass that up? Probably should have made it number 1 just for Tunic the Fox alone. But such a fun game in terms of discovery. If you like any sort of puzzle adventure games like that, 1000% would recommend playing Tunic. Absolutely lovely game. Play that if you can, if you're into that sort of gameplay. But that is number 2. That is not number 1 on this list. Number 1 is a very it's a game that is very specifically tailored towards my tastes, and it would have been my game of the year of 2023 if Hi-Fi Rush had not come out that year. But this game spoke to me on so many levels, and it is inspired by a previous game, but in my opinion, it above and beyond surpasses that original game. You may know where I'm going with this. That at number 1 is Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Team Reptile is not done on this list, baby. Oh, I didn't mean to turn on the audio anyways. You can't hear it. But what a game. This game, okay. First of all, this game is very much inspired by Jet Set Radio, games made by Sega that are focused on rollerblading around the city, spraying graffiti while running from the cops. This game combines Jet Set Radio and like Tony Hawk and Dave Mirra all in one. To me, so I don't even know where to begin with this game because it has a better story than Jet Set Radio. The characters, I would put on par with Jet Set Radio. I would say Jet Set Radio might have more style, but this game trumps Jet Set Radio for me personally in terms of core gameplay. The movement is amazing, by the way. The movement is fantastic. I love a good sense of movement in games, and this game has it. The graffiti spraying is way more intuitive, I think, in this game, and it gives you more options too. Like, you're not just doing the same graffiti every time. You get options. The story is way more engaging. There's more of a story going on here. The soundtrack, I love both soundtracks. The soundtrack in this particular, I mean, you get Hideki Naganuma doing like 3 songs now. You get 2 Mellow in here with my favorite song, I Wanna Know by them. And there's so many other artists I discovered because of this game. But I just, the sense of movement, the sense of style it still has, even if it's not as much as Jet Set Radio. To me, this game surpasses Jet Set Radio in terms of core gameplay. I mean, you can have rollerblades, you can have skateboards, and you can have bikes. Like, that is nuts. And there's just so much fun stuff going on here. Absolutely love it. This is a comfort game for me that I've come back to revisit every so often. On Steam Deck in particular, it's a great Steam Deck game. Love this game. Love this game. Team Reptile took the inspiration. They started to have that inspiration a little bit with Lethal League Blaze, as we saw earlier in the list. Then really said, you know what, we're going to hone down. We're going to get the original composer from Jet Set Radio to do a few tracks here. And we're really going to hone down on this. And in my personal opinion, I think they surpassed the inspiration. I know that's probably a hot take. This game is great. Love, love, love Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. I know it is a very niche thing for me specifically, but it absolutely fills that niche, that hole in my soul. It's great. Love this game. Absolutely love Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. That is why it is number 1 on my list. But that's going to do it for this list. So just to recap before we end off here, number 10 is Pizza Tower. Number 9 is Lethal League Blaze. Number 8 is Pepper Grinder. Number 7 is Animal Well. Number 6 is Balatro. Number 5 is Shovel Knight. Number 4 is Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. Number 3 is Vampire Survivors. Number 2 is Tunic. And number 1 is Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, baby. That is going to do it for my top 10 personal favorite indie games that I have played. Like I said, there were plenty of runner-ups that didn't make the list. There were plenty I didn't even consider. And there's plenty of games that I have not played. Like, there's so many indie games out there. It's how do you choose, right? If I had played even more indie games, it's only been the last couple of years I've played a lot of indie games recently, and so that's why it was easy for me to make this list now. A couple of years from now, as I've been playing more indie games, maybe it won't be so easy. But let me know in the comments below what some of your favorite indie games are. Definitely let me know, because I'm willing to check out more indie games. I love supporting indies over the last few years, and I want to keep doing that going into the future. So definitely let me know your favorites in the comments below and what you think of my picks here. Otherwise, I will catch you all on the next video or live stream. And until then, stay funky.